Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, please continue to pray for me by singing along with me, gesturing at your screen, and leaving a dislike on this video. I've sorted out a few things that I want to work on the second week of the semester. Last week I had an absolute shit show. Road rages. I got into a disagreement while just minding my own business, and it reminded me of a situation I ran into, and in Taiwan that taught me that there's something that I should probably look at.
What fruit do we need to grow that you would like? What fruit could you grow?
Give me a second. And what had happened was I had gone to a karaoke night in Taiwan, and several of the people I went with were kind of disrespectful, talking over me as I was singing. But they insisted I sang a really good song, and they didn't mean to talk over me. And what's really funny is that they didn't talk over anybody else. And I told them, it's okay, I forgive you, but I want to know why you chose my song to talk over, just so for my own reference, right? And so this is for our own good. You don't have to worry, don't be shy. And I really got the impression that they weren't hiding anything. They didn't know why they subconsciously felt it was okay to disrespect. That's the impression I got at the end of the day, right? And it makes me wonder what I could work on with my appearance. So, for example, I'm really struggling with doing intermittent fasting here in the United States. There's so much going on here. It's very difficult to, for starters, I'm at two different campuses. Just to find things to occupy the time during the day, you get harassed a lot here in the United States, right? It's not like Taiwan, where you can hang out at the student union and not get harassed over something trivial, right? But okay, so and that which makes it very difficult to kill time without eating something, without doing something that stresses you out, which is why the intermittent fasting has been a little bit trickier for me here in the United States, right? The stress, you don't even recognize these things as stresses, right? They just accumulate on you. But when I'm having a difficult time with intermittent fasting, I remind myself I gotta keep appearances. Intermittent fasting has benefits to our skin health. Obviously, it has benefits to our body sizes. And so I remind myself that that whatever that I'm thinking about eating, that could be the difference between whether or not I'm going to get harassed the next time I do something a little bit off. Not necessarily off, but just to take care of myself, right? Okay, so appearances. I've been using hydrogen peroxide to whiten my teeth. Let's see if we could see some of that. And a few other hacks like that. Okay. The next thing I want to work on is I mentioned being harassed. One of my biggest weaknesses is that when something startles or surprises me, I never seem to react appropriately. I can react perfectly when I have time to plan things out. Right? What do I mean by time? Yesterday, I went to the other campus to go chat with a former student of mine. I had a lot of time to think that through, right, during the whole drive there. And I got there 5 minutes before her class ended. I had time to chat with students who were showing up to the next class to calm my nerves. And that turned out perfectly, right? We had a conversation about what she did over the summer and all that. Now, where I don't react appropriately, and you guys probably have never seen this because I usually don't upload it when it happens, somebody interrupts me when I'm in the middle of one of my hate or dislike shows, and it's just really frustrating. I might be 10 minutes into a video, now they've interrupted the flow of everything, and in an ideal world, the people who interrupt are usually not bad people. The person who interrupted might even be my future life partner had it been a different circumstance, right? But at the moment in time, it shocks the system, and I'm not reacting appropriately to that. Now, what's really frustrating about this aspect of mine is it's not something you can go out and practice today, right? Unexpected events are by definition not things you can go out and practice, right? Unlike the seeing a girl that I planned to see and thought about for a whole week, right? You can practice it any day you want, right? But an unexpected, somebody harassing you, somebody interrupting you when they didn't mean to, or something happened that's it can happen at work as well, right? Students can ask some of the most off-the-wall questions, right? Sometimes I don't react appropriately at the moment either, right? So, for example, I used to work at a tutoring center. You would not believe some of the questions that students will ask. I had one student who, students ask really inappropriate things. He had asked about his older sister had a best friend who was pregnant, I think 15, 16 years old, and asked me how that happens. I out of gut reaction, because everybody knows my relationship with myself, I explained that the girl probably experienced romance with herself and got herself pregnant. The kid who asked me was 7 years old. He actually believed it. The older kids, I don't think they believed it, but they went along with it because they thought it was such a creative answer and could get him to shut up. I went home to do some research to see if that's a common answer that parents might give their kids or something like that, because obviously kids ask those questions all the time, right? So I went online to read about it, and I didn't see that it was a popular answer that people give, but I did read about the concept of parthenogenesis, and apparently it is possible for someone to get themselves pregnant. I don't know if it has anything to do with having romance with themselves, though. But apparently it was a thing, and I got the 7-year-old to believe that his older sister's best friend had experienced parthenogenesis. I think this was 2 years ago now. Wouldn't it be interesting if the baby actually looked exactly like her mother, and they just actually believed that was the case, right? Or maybe it really was the case, right? Because from the way the boy was explaining it, he had never seen that friend with a guy, right? Maybe it really was parthenogen. Wouldn't it be crazy, right? But the thing is that I get myself thrown off balance when things aren't as planned, and off balance is okay, but I often don't react to them positively. That one might have turned out okay, but I've had other situations where being off balance caused me to do something that I regret. Like the other day when I got harassed at the cafeteria inside of the Safeway. Right, if I could go back in time with the thoughts that I had over the last 48 hours, right, I probably could have gotten the guy fired from his job. Not that I want to, but right, um, but okay. Uh, so we got the physical appearances. We got the practice. Yeah. Leave a comment if you know what's a good way to practice unexpected events. Right, that is something that I've been whacking my brains to think about, because practice makes perfect. Unfortunately, the only time I can practice is when I'm in the midst of it and with high stakes. Right, I want to do a practice when the stakes are low. Right. The other thing I thought about is maybe spending more time out here and watching people as they run into unexpected events. Right, that's the other thing I could think about. But again, here in the United States, that's kind of tricky as well. All right, some thoughts. Leave a comment if these things have a tendency to trip you up. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.